whether you would prefer the first option or the second option, okay? So your first question is, would you rather eat a really big, juicy hamburger right now or a sweet ice cream sundae? So raise your hand if you would rather have a cheeseburger. I know you just came back from lunch, but raise your hand if you would rather have an ice cream sundae. All right. And your next question, and really I want you to think about the reasons why you would prefer one option over the other, okay? So your next question is, would you rather have a pet elephant to play with or a pet giraffe? So who would prefer a pet elephant? And who would prefer the pet giraffe?
So I can get up a tree and get
All right, 2 more questions, guys. Third question, would you rather jump into a pool of marshmallows or a pool of Jell-O? Who would rather jump into a pool of marshmallows? And who would rather jump into a pool of Jell-O? All right, and your last question is, would you rather eat an apple or a banana? I know, it's not as fun, but would you rather eat an apple or a banana? Raise your hand if you would rather eat an apple. And raise your hand if you would rather eat a banana.
Banana.
Can somebody tell me a reason why they would prefer an apple? Do you want to Wade?
Because they're crunchy and juicy.
Okay. And why? Can somebody tell me a reason why they prefer a banana? Josie? Yeah, you're right.
And oranges.
They're both yummy though.
And then like them.
Well, you may not have realized it, but as I was asking these questions and you were thinking in your mind as to which object you would prefer, you were actually comparing and contrasting. Has anybody heard these words before? Yeah? Well, compare means to think about how these objects are alike or how they are different. And contrasting means to think about how they are different or not alike. So we compared and contrast a lot of things this morning. Authors, when they're writing nonfiction texts, sometimes use a compare and contrast text structure to write. They use this text structure to arrange information in an order that relates to or more objects, facts, or events to each other while they're writing. So today, we're going to read a nonfiction text structure about butterflies and moths. So let me pass that out. Can you pass it around? Make sure everyone has a copy. And we're going to read this article in sections. So the first section I'm going to read out loud, and I'm going to tell you about my thought process. And then the second section we're going to read together. And then on the back, you're going to read the back independently and compare and contrast on your own. Does everyone have a copy? Can you pass them back that way?
She doesn't have these two don't.
Okay, there's a pile of papers coming. Can you just write on the floor? Write on the floor in front of you, okay? Does anybody else need a copy? Wow. Oh, no, sorry. Can you pass that back? All right, guys. So I'm going to read the first 2 paragraphs, and I want you to think, I want you to listen and pay attention to how I'm thinking while I read, okay? So, butterflies and moths. How is a butterfly like a moth? Both are flying insects with either brightly colored wings or wings with very interesting designs. Both sip nectar from flowers using tubes that curl when not in use. In my mind, I noticed that the author is using some clue words that are telling me that this is a compare and contrast nonfiction article, okay? And that word is both. I see it twice in this paragraph. So a lot of times authors use these clue words to give us clues that they are comparing and contrasting 2 different objects or facts or events in their article. So there's a few clue words that authors can use. They can use the word same, different, like, as, similar, but, also, both, on the other hand, and however. So let me keep reading. Both moths and butterflies also develop in 4 stages: egg, caterpillar, cocoon or chrysalis, and adult. In fact, butterflies and moths are so similar that they are the only insects whose wings are covered by scales. Does anybody see any clue words in that paragraph that give us a clue this is a comparing contrast article? Billy? Similar, good. How about one more? What do you think?
Both.
Yep, both is in there again. Well, as I'm reading them, I also know that the author is giving me a lot of information. And to organize all of this information, I like to jot what I read down so that then I can remember it later. And by doing that, I can use a Venn diagram. Have you guys used a Venn diagram before? Yeah? So you're familiar with it? So on one side, you would write the differences of one object, which in this article would be the butterfly. On the other, you would write the differences of the moth, and then in the center, you write the differences of both. So, as I read that both moths and butterflies develop in 4 stages. So I'm going to write that in the both section of my Venn diagram. So, develop in 4 stages. And I also read that the article says that they both are the only insects whose wings are covered by scales. So I'm going to write that in the both section as well. Wings covered by scales. All right. So let's read the 3rd paragraph together. And I want you to think about some of the similarities and differences that you notice as we're reading. So we're going to read it out loud together, okay? So start with the word however. Does everyone see it? Great. Ready? However, butterflies and moths are also very different. Some of those differences are plain and simple. Butterflies are the beautifully colored summertime insects flying from flower to flower during the day. Moths, on the other hand, are beautifully colored summertime insects flying at night. Often, moths will fly circles around streetlights because they are drawn to any form of illumination. Can somebody point out a clue word that they read in the text? Daryl? However, right? Ava? On the other hand, good job. Katie? Also. Those are great. Can somebody tell me a similarity or a difference that they noticed while reading? Daryl? Great. Yeah. So butterflies fly around during the day while moths fly around at night. So those are 2 differences between a butterfly and a moth. Carol, do you want to write that in our Venn diagram? So a butterfly flies around during the day. And then the moth flies around at night. Thanks, Sarah. Good job. All right, so now it is your turn to practice by yourselves. So you're going to go back to your seat and read the back of the article. And I want you, as you're reading, to highlight any clue words that you read. Remember the clue words that we talked about? So highlight the clue words. And also I want you to fill out your own Venn diagram putting the similarities of a moth and a butterfly in the center, and then the differences in their circles. Okay. So let me pass this out, and then if you want to, you can read with a partner. But I want you to try and fill out the Venn diagram by yourself. Okay. Do you have a question?
Yeah, do you want to write on the diagram, on that diagram, do you have to write that too?
You can if you want to, for extra practice, but it's up to you. Do you have a question?
Do we have to work with a partner that are at our table?
Yeah. Why don't you say at your table groups, okay? All right, and once you get your Venn diagram, you can go back to your seat.
Yeah.
Here, Dakota. Yes. You can work with a partner at your table. Yes. Yep, you can use that. There you go, Bill.
Hunter, I'm reading about
All right, everybody go back to your seats.
Just right here. Somebody.
All right, let me see if